Okay, maybe they'll join in a few minutes. Okay, so who wants to ask the first question about the assignment? Okay. So RIP is kind of optional, but in case of relocation based 64-bit architectures, it is now necessary. So what that essentially means is that is mute. No, I think there will be some issue if you just use without %RIP. I think for that we'll have to compile using FN no PIE or something. But since that is not something which we'll be using, I think it's okay. I don't think it's going to, I mean, where you generate the code for using that label, you just add %RIP there and that should be okay. Is primarily for relocation. The position independent executable needs to be, as I was mentioning in that x86 thing, it's the same. Okay, so we'll, I mean, since otherwise GCC or assembler, one of them will give an error uh, uh, that it is an error or warning, one of them, that it's unable to find out where this thing is, and it will default to some address and it might not work or something like that might happen. So we'll, you can just hard code it as %RIP. That should be all right. Okay. Any other concerns? Why is movl $0% EAX present just before every call to printf? Without that, we get a seg fault when executing the ascent. Is it you are getting a seg fault without this? That seems a little odd. So usually that um, every call to printf. Oh, I see. Yeah, so I don't know. That does that mean that printf might be using this %ex for some other reason? I'm not sure. Let me just quickly search if there is anything online. Yeah, there seems to be on Stack Overflow something given. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Yeah, I'll just post the link. Looks like it has something to do with that variable number of arguments. I think that's a good point. I did know this. Yeah, so that it must be assuming something from %eax, and that might be affecting how it is going to treat or how many arguments it is going to read, etc. And that is uh, getting affected because of this. So it seems to be something to do with that. So I think it's imperative for us to move 0 to EAX whenever we are calling any function for that matter with variable number of arguments. This C++ style of code in our Yak, yeah. So that was also asked by Venkat, and I had experimented with it some time back, but I was not successful. And there are some online material which shows that it might be possible in a limited sense, but there is no clear-cut way of using C++ directly. I mean, people were trying to do extend C and then put things into a certain extend C block and then try to use it, etc. But there is no clean way of using C++. So that's unfortunate for us because we are unable to uh, use the power of this C++ vectors, etc. So yeah, at least I am not aware. Anybody knows how to use C++ in the YAG actions? Servant stack order where they used if not defined, etc. Yeah, so there were, yeah, I have seen some of these pages where the C++ bindings you can put using extern C and then use some sort of this hash if def, etc. But I mean, there is no, I didn't find any clean way of using it. And I think that was also quite restrictive. You were not able to use arbitrary HTL vectors, etc. Yeah, same thing. I didn't find, I tried to do that, but it didn't work out for arbitrary code. So I think we'll have to be coding it in C. Okay. Any other concerns? Has any of the TAs joined? Okay, good. Separate for C++ and compile them together. I see. Um, I see. So you create a .o file from C++ and then one from C and then link them up together. Hmm, I see. That seems to be a good idea. I think that might work out. I mean, as Raghu has made it work, maybe that seems to be one way to go. So I didn't find that in the, yeah, so I think you will still be able to use STL data. I mean, Raghu can answer, but the STL data structures, you can, the usage of that, you can completely move to C++ piece and not use anything in the actions. I mean, actions might just be some function calls, which internally take care of using the STL, etc. We just, yeah, I was just checking if Raghu has gotten full marks in the assignment. Otherwise, he will say that I have used it, but I did not, my code did not compile. So he has gotten full marks, so we can rely on him. No, we need not wrap it. The function call might just be a C function call, normal C function call. In the C++ file, uh, have that function as a normal function, and within that you use all sorts of maps and so on. That seems to be one way of it. Is Venkat around? I don't see him. He had also asked this question, but anyway, I'll post this video. Yeah, you will require those. I mean, those are C functions, so you will require those to be prototyped here, unless they have the default, like default is integer return type and so on. So usually they will require some parameters, so those need to be signatured in the. Okay, yeah. So Raghu is mentioning that he has used separated reverse. So I have requested Sarthak for making his code available, and he has kindly agreed. Raghu, is it okay if I make your code also available to the students, so that it will be helpful for students to figure out how to? Okay, thanks a lot. So that students can do use C++ in that other piece. Sarthak says he was able to use C++ in the actions part of Yak. Oh, is it? Let me see. Teaching. Okay, that seems interesting. I'm looking at Sarthak's code. Yeah, he's using vector directly in the actions part, and the makefile just contains G++, and he's able to compile that lex.yy.c and y.tab.cpp. Yeah, and there is nothing specific about C++, so it seems that it's just working. Okay, I'll anyway make both Sarthak and Raghu's codes available, and that seems to be that will probably help you. Yeah, no problem, Sarthak. I'll make the makefile also available. But yeah, I don't see anything special in the makefile. It seems to be the usual makefile. Yeah, this is Sarthak's makefile. Mm, I see. Okay. Okay. So good. I think this discussion is helpful for multiple of you who want to use C++ there. I think this is also learning for me. I did not know that this all thing is possible. Good. Okay. Next question. Okay. If there are no questions, I'll wait for one more. Okay. Can you give some guidelines on how to build the symbol table? Mhm. Typically, the symbol table, I mean, in this case, you are not going to require too much of processing for the symbol table. Um, Considering that we are just having a single function, as well as of course you will have some sort of scope information when you have blocks. um, so here you will not face too much trouble. A simple hash table usually is sufficient. So the hash table usually goes by the name of the variable, and that hashes to some structure, and that structure contains, that class contains all the information about that uh, uh, particular variable. For example, the type of the variable, if there are any other type modifiers, there are some additional things like the array size, etc. So all this information is typically kept inside a single object of that particular type. Um, the scope information is typically kept as a pointer. So uh, the for example, the same variable might point to multiple scopes, right? So as I was mentioning once, there are two ways in which this scope information can be embedded. One is that the scope itself is part of the variable name, right? So you can have scope 1 colon a1 as the variable name. Alternatively, the scope information might be kept inside the data structure, in which case multiple variables in different scopes will point to the same entry, and from there you figure out which scope you are referring to. The scope information, when you are dealing with this nested scopes, like we have these braces, the representation, that is the data structure, should also, it is natural, or let me put it this way, that it is also naturally modelable using the nested data structure scope, which means that the outer scope, the inner scope should contain a pointer to the outer scope, and in turn that outer scope should contain a pointer to the its enclosing block, and so on, where the outermost block is the global scope. So that turns out to be following the structure of the program, the block structure of the program, and that is usually the one that gets followed, because typically we have the nested block structure, scope structure. um, Beyond that, you might require some gimmicks in case you want to support, for example, static variables, where the variable should not be, I mean, it should be more declared as a global variable. I mean, declared meaning it should be uh, uh, presented as a global variable, but its scope should be restricted to that particular function or that particular block. Yeah, but other than that, there isn't too much with respect to this symbol table. I mean, you are using your hash table and taking care of the scope, that usually suffices. Just that this nested scope is the one that you have to take care of. Thankfully, we are using static scoping, so that also does not create a problem. Otherwise, for static scoping, we will have to find out the links at runtime. That is, what is the caller, etc. Is this what you were asking, Sarthak, or there was something else? Okay, sure. Ravi's question is, this assignment compares the code with actual C language. Look, we can change the grammar as long as it still resembles C. uh, so what does that mean? Can you give an example of where you would want to make the change in the grammar? Yeah, that is okay. Having a different production for main, I mean, if there are minor variations in the productions, that is not a problem at all. I mean, not that we are going to check it, but what I'm trying to say is that as long as it is reasonable, there is no problem. Yeah, you are allowed to change the grammar as long as it is reasonable and it is taking care of all these different. For example, you are not really required to support lots of different constructs for this. I mean, it would have become a little more difficult for you guys to, or not difficult, but time wise it would have been more I mean, time consuming. So therefore we have reduced the scope of this to just support the printf, etc. So as long, if you want to support only this part of the grammar, that is also okay. That is not a problem, because we will not be really checking all of this. As long as your Yak takes care of this, Lex and Yak, and you generate the file, we'll run it on the source codes, the input codes, and as long whatever it produces, that we'll compare with. I mean, we'll execute it and then compare its output with the actual expected output. Yeah, so you can change the grammar, no problem. The while I say that it is allowed, I should also mention that at the end of all of this, at the end of this course, if you do not change the grammar, with a good chance you will have a working compiler with you. And although I understand that some of the simplifications will help you, uh, but having that compiler might be something which you might want to enjoy. Uh, and at the end of this course, you should also be able to put in your CV that we build the complete compiler. So from that perspective, it might still be okay if you want to retain the grammar and just generate code only for a few constructs as expected in A3. Okay. Any other things? We'll wait for 1 more minute for any questions. All right. So thanks a lot, and I'll post Sarthak and Raghu's codes, uh, and you can start from there, or you can use your own. Either way should be okay. All right. See you then.